I relaxed a little bit. My cousin was in town, so we went to Eastside Catholic, watched them play against Garfield at Memorial Stadium. So that was pretty cool. Uh, Went to go chill, had game night at my house. Then Saturday went to go eat in Bellevue. Then we went to watch Joker. So I thought that was pretty good. And then Sunday went to the Rotary Club, saw some kids try out for the AAU team. So just a little different.
Are we talking community? It sounds like you're a Rotary. I mean, is that something you're
Yeah,
focused on?
yeah. I mean, one of the guys that I'm cool with that's from here, Ryan Phillips. He has two kids, and so they're part of the Rotary Club. And I used to go watch them, especially in the off season, just play basketball because that's one of the things that I used to love to do. I play AAU basketball, so I would go watch them. And around this time, they're having tryouts to see who makes the A team, who makes the B team. So it's kind of just being able to go there, be around kids, and kind of be around the same stuff that I grew up with.
Why did you pick that one?
Well, I always wanted to be able to go see G. Scott Jr. play. I know G. Scott always talks to me about trying to come out to a game, and the last time I went was like 4 years ago. So I tried to find a way to be able to go out there and found out that they played at Memorial Stadium. So just thought it'd be cool to try to go to a high school game.
What's game night at your house entail?
Just different games. I mean, we had Taboo. I think the game we played the other night was I forgot. I forgot what it was, but it's more of like who's the best person that resembles this. So when it was certain questions, like one of them said, "Who talks about themselves the most?" and everybody picked me. And like I don't even talk about myself unless y'all ask me the questions. But it was just different stuff, like kind of like some funny, some like kind of intimidating type questions. But it was just kind of fun to see people's perspective of other people laughing and joking around.
Movie review without spoiling it.
What's the movie review? I thought it was different. It's a lot of different perspectives that people could take away from that. For me, I didn't really know what it was going to be like going into it. I didn't really remember what the preview was about. So once I kind of understood everything that it was talking about at the end, it kind of made sense. Like, this is all the events that happened that led him to this moment. And like for me, or just anybody in general, like the people that we become in the future is kind of destined from what happened in the past. And so when you look at that, you have people who are driven by their past in a good way, and other people are driven by their past in a bad way. And it's really about how you deal with those triggers that happened in your past that's gonna determine what your future is gonna look like.
Oh, you got poetry books in right there. What made you want it?
Yeah, I never thought that I'd do a poetry book, to be honest. This is what it looks like for you guys if y'all haven't seen it. So it's reflection, and it really means a lot to me because I found out that the best way to be able to help somebody is just to talk about yourself. One of the things I have in there in my introduction is if you talk about somebody else's scars, they feel like they're the victim and they feel like you're coming at them. But if you talk about yourself and you share your own scars, they'll listen more and the conversation becomes more transparent. So for me, just being able to have the opportunity to make this book is just talking about myself and talking about a lot of other things, and it's about self-reflection. It's more of a self-help book. I do a lot of note to selves on Instagram. If anybody out here follows me, I don't know if y'all are up to date with Instagram, but just a lot of stuff like reminding myself about the important things, the things that matter. It talks about relationships, talks about one of my friends thought about committing suicide. Like, it has a lot of like just different type of topics, and that's the thing that I like about it the most. And it gives people a different perspective, but a perspective that's driven more to life.
How long have you been writing poetry?
I started writing poetry my senior year in high school, so 2010, and just been doing it ever since.
How does that help you just like as an
I think it helps a lot. When you try to go talk to people, sometimes, like I said, people have their own opinions, their own perspectives, and they don't understand what you do or why you do certain things when you want to cope. And for me, it's kind of like a therapy session without going to talk to a therapist, as many times as somebody might like to. So for me, it's about being able to write how I feel. And sometimes I go to like this event called Retro. It's actually tonight, but I'm not going. But just being able to get my thoughts out there, being able to share not only what I feel, but what I see other people dealing with on a daily basis. And whether they agree or not, they have to listen. That's the beauty of poetry. When you go up there and speak, they have to see where you're coming from because all they can do is sit there and listen.
When you have that peace of mind off the field, how does that help you to go on the field
does that help you? Does translate on the day or something like that?
No, I think it helps a lot. Like for me, a lot of the poems that I write, it's a lot of cool stuff, a lot of inspiring stuff that motivates me when I get back out there on the field. And for that, sometimes I repeat certain things to myself. Like when I'm out there and I'm performing, like one of the things that I'll kind of, tell y'all is like one of the poems I have is called Something in the Making, right? So it goes like, please don't kill my vibe. All the pain and suffering that I'm dealing with inside, I'm trying to hide. So please, can you just let it go? I'm trying to go to a place in life that I ain't been before, the places where they beam and glow and where stars shine. And as I lay there, I wonder one day, when will I shine? Is it true I could chase my dream, or am I wasting my time? Should I go and make it happen or just wait for a sign? A lot of people say they wait until they hear words from God. But I feel like God just waits for us to decide if we're going to live it or just think it. But life's got to be more than trying to dream it. So tell me what's after when we achieve it. Because I refuse to go my whole life without meaning, so I'm making boss moves done in secret. And it's like I start talking about different types of things. Like I'm pregnant with success and I'm going to keep it. And anything that stands in my way, I'm going to beat it like a drum. And it's kind of using different analogies, but it's like sometimes I do inspirational things and motivational things that help me out there on the field because it gets my mindset right. It allows me to go back to the beginning and allows me to simplify everything from everything that started whenever I decided to play this game in the first place. And so I don't get caught up in like the glory. I don't get caught up in like the money. I don't get caught up in the everybody liking me and everybody praising me. It takes me back to that place where I can center my focus and focus on my faith and what got me here.
Could you recite that book cover to cover?
You said, yeah, for the most part. Like a lot of the poems, some of them I did about 4 years ago. A lot of them I did, now, and it has different stuff. It talks about anxiety. It talks about like depression, just different types of stuff that other people go through, and it allows people who might never see that to be able to understand what it's like in that person's position.
And it's available now?
Nope, it's available October 15th. So as of right now, I got the little bio in my profile on Instagram to where people can do it. And if people message me, I send it out to them. But for now, on October 15th, they'll be able to get it in Barnes & Nobles. They'll be able to get it on Amazon and Fred Meyers. So just pretty cool, man. Like I got an opportunity to go do my poetry next Tuesday at Microsoft for their little conference, and I get to go do the same thing at Amazon the same day. So just trying to see how far poetry goes, but I think it's a great way to be able to just share different types of things that people talk about, but being able to do it in a rhyming type of way is kind of cool.
How did the book come about?
Well, some people actually reached out to my marketing guy, and they kind of talked to me about it, and they asked, and for me, I kind of was like, we'll see how it goes. But, I realized that this could be more of a self-help book. Like I have workshops in here. I got different stuff like that to where it's not just reading the poem. It's just being able to read it, and then I have note to self. And then it's kind of like something that talks about, like when my friend was talking about committing suicide, like one of the note to self says something like, life isn't always the glitz and glamours, but every single day you have to find something to live for. Otherwise, you're going to put yourself into a depressive type of mindset where nothing is going right. And if you find every day, if you find something, everything that you do, if you find meaning in it, you find a reason to live and you find a reason to be happy. And so it's just like for that part, that was the note to self. And then I had like different things that said, do you feel like this? Why do you want to commit suicide? Blah, blah, blah. Like, is it just because of what's going on now? But the 10 years later, you're going to be happy that you didn't do it. But it'll have different ways to cope with it rather than just being able to deal with stuff by yourself. So that's why I said it's a pretty cool thing that I did just to be able to help out a lot of people who have these types of mindsets in certain seasons of their life. And though people might not understand it, you're able to kind of like give people a perspective that they might never have seen and help them out.
Anything else? Thanks, Tyler.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Just get a picture of you with the
Oh, yeah.